Hello survivors, and welcome to episode 10 of our Overlord series. In today's video we are on the Chaoswalker. We have a build for you guys. Now normally when we look at the skills, we look at the current state of the game and we say to ourselves, you know what, Poison is in such a strong spot right now. We should play with Infected Shot and Corrosion, play with the Acid Rain, play with our Poison Cloud and our Poison Puddle getting Debilitated Weakness. You know, we can play Poison over here and we would be in a fantastic spot. But because that is the way that the game is, I want to be different. I want to try and play with the Shadow Walker, the Holy Shadow Walker. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be running the fourth weapon using Sanctified Orb as well as Shadow Orb. It gives us both Dazed and Disoriented, Doom and Purity, and we're going to see just how well we can do with that. We are going to be playing with Shadow Spark, which is damage based on the number of stacks of Doom that we have, so we are going to be proccing as much Doom as possible, as well as playing with Living Weapon, Light Beam, maybe Light Beam, I'm not 100% sure yet, but things like that. So it's going to be Holy and Shadow, and we'll see from there. So the runes that we're running are Weapon Expert, Endless Refill and Shadow Inclination, Multicast Mastery, Synergetic, Improved Repertory and Sure-Footed for the less damage taken. So let's get straight into it and see what it is like. Now we do have to be careful because when you are playing with a Sanctified Orb as well as a Shadow Orb, you are going to get a lot of projectiles on your screen, and that does cause quite a lot of tension on your CPU as well. So just be careful, listen to your computer, and if it is struggling, maybe just not to play this build or whatever the case may be. I know for myself even this was actually quite a hectic build and we didn't do it very much, but I realized what my issue was. I had VSync on, turn VSync on off and drop your FPS, and you should be in a much better place with regards to graphical your computer being happier. Alright, all attacks disarray, that's perfect. There's the start of our Shadow with Shadow Spark. Grabbing ourselves an early magnetic is going to be very good, and then just like every other time, just in the beginning we can grab the multicasts and the cast frequencies, and that's going to be very, very good for us. So now we just need Doom, and then we'll see where to go from there. Alright, I've actually, when I was busy trying out different builds for the Chaoswalker, every single one of these pillars of protection ended up being very close to me. Normally, in the past, they've been like so far away that it's been ridiculous. So here we're going to grab Living Weapon. We're going to grab, do we need Expansive? I don't think we actually need it because it doesn't really affect, but it does affect this. We'll grab one, then cast frequency, and then we'll look for a bit of movement speed. We only grabbed it because it's rare. If it was common or uncommon, I wouldn't have even bothered. Alright, a Death Vortex. No, we're not looking for that. We can grab ourselves Holy Beam. That would be 4. But it's also another Purity. Okay, grab ourselves that health. I am still looking for, see, we don't need damage over there. There's Shadow Orb, fantastic. So now we have our Doom application skill. We're going to try and stay away from our Ascension as well. We don't really need it. The Ascension is Chaos. Oh, and for our last item, we'll use Bloodlust. We won't even use a Doom skill, because the only skill we need to apply Doom is, this Shadow Orb, and then also we're going to have our other skills applying Doom for us as well. So we don't actually want that. We can go and run Bloodlust when we find it. That was the thing. I don't think we ran Living Weapon. I don't know. We'll sort that out. But we do want a Bloodlust. Now over here we are getting quite a few multicast chances on Shadow Spark, which is beautiful. We also get a multicast on Frontal, which is really good because that is our Sanctified Orb and Shadow Orb, so we're going to grab that. grab there. The movement speed's going to be very good. And here we go for our first boss fight. Let's see how this goes. Now I am playing with high visuals. We will just do it just so you guys can always see, you know, in the very beginning just how hectic it actually is when you play with full visuals. But you can see we're doing quite a decent amount of damage already to the bosses, and because of our ascension we just got a huge boost to movement speed over there, which is really nice. Sometimes it really can save you. Probably did save me quite a bit. The one thing about Shadow Spark, however, is that it is completely random. So it doesn't really matter where you're aiming, it's going to land up hitting random places. So we got to kind of just go with it. Alright, so here we go. We're going to actually grab the cast frequency here as well, because again, just like in every other video, the most amount of cast frequency we have, the better it is going to be for us. We're going to be grabbing a lot of Fateful Strikes because we do want to grab all of that juicy what's the word I'm looking for, Doom, and go from there. So there we go. We can also increase the amount of damage that the Doom applies. Do we need this? What am I looking for? Oh, I'm looking for Bloodlust. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, we don't need Disarray to bleed. We don't need Doom to bleed. We don't need Area of Effect anymore. Cast frequency is good. Area of Effect can work well on the swords, but the living weapon isn't what we're aiming for over here as a damage dealer. We just need them to cast a lot, and we just need them to deal a Doom damage, which is what we're working on. So, you know, not using damage on them is fine. They are going to land up getting damage from the you know, shadow to non-shadow type upgrades, and well, hopefully at least, and then other things that also affect things like that. They also get indirect damage increase from having cast frequency upgrades, because the more they attack, the more damage they're actually going to be doing. Alright, another Swift over here. That's beautiful. We're going to grab that over there. All attacks now apply Doom. We can have the Disarray on hit as well. And we should be in a very good spot now. Obviously, when we get to the Overlord 4 or 5, or whatever the case may be, we are going to land up turning the graphics way down, because of course it is going to affect us in a negative way, and we need to be able to see what's happening on our screen, especially if we want to survive this. So, you know, that's just how it is, unfortunately. It's not like the Monkey King build where we've got a lot of defenses and we're able to just stand inside of you know, attacks and still survive. So we do have to just be careful over there, a lot more than we would with other builds. But as you can see, things do die relatively well, including me if I stand in all these AoEs. There we go. At least we can heal in the first level quite well, but we are going to have to work on a lot more damage over here. Alright, so we're going to grab the Area of Effect as well as that. Beautiful. Damage over there is good. Cast frequency, good. Damage and another magnetic. Beautiful. Cast frequency. All attacks apply Disarray. And then we're going to go and destroy this. We did see it attacking us quite a lot. You can see it does do a lot of area attack, so we just wanted to get rid of it for a bit. Make sure we dodge through that poison. What else is happening for us now? Nothing really. We do have our Ascension going off here as well. Now there is a chance to get something called Chaotic Blessing, which can give you random stats as you're playing. So you could get like movement speed, you can get increased multicast chance and increased damage and so on and so forth. It is random, so you know, it's not like you get to pick what it is that you're getting, which is a bit of a pity, but I mean, that is how it is. I mean, Ripple of Light's doing the least amount, but I don't see it. Game, where is it? Okay, damage modifier, that's beautiful. Again, we don't need these, we're not looking to grab them. Go there. Holy Gardens, that's fine as well. Increase our shadow damage and all of the damage for our shadow spark. Get me out of there. And there you can see we just got the movement speed from our ascension. As long as we aim at the bosses, at least we'll be applying a lot of doom and other stacks to them, so that should be really good. And you can see the living weapons just wailing on the bosses for us. It's really, really fun to see, really nice to see. There we go, we get rid of Ripple of Light. I don't believe it's doing too much, so we get rid of that for our Bloodlust, and then it's 3 and 3. And then we're not going to grab anything that goes from like Shadow to Chaos or anything like that, because we don't need it. We literally just trying to get this for the cast frequency and the movement speed. So we don't really care about chaining it or anything like that. I mean, yes, if we were playing more Chaos, it's really good, but we should be able to, with enough cast frequency, just get it to be up all the time. It does involve a little bit more investment into it than going for like although skill chain is just as much investment, you know, because you need quite a few of them. But if you get like 10% per cast on it, it's actually a lot better, I guess, than getting all the cast frequencies. But if you get all those general cast frequencies, then you still should be in a better place. If you pick up all those recklessness. But it does look like we might have to start lowering the graphics already for this, just because it's already getting quite out of control with all the poison on the floor and everything like that. Of course, getting yourself more of the what's those things called, dashes. So getting ourselves the dashes is going to be very, very good here as well. Increase the damage of every doom that we apply, that's fine. It would be better to increase the damage of the doom if we were playing with something like a Reap, but we're not. So I mean, getting the damage of the doom doesn't actually help us deal more damage. We probably don't even need it, but we grabbing it anyway. I don't know, just because we can. There wasn't anything better to grab. But I remember we did this on the Pyromancer as well. We never grabbed any of those damage upgrades. It's not really necessary. We should probably reroll, or we would reroll if we had. So, you know, keep that in mind. If you have a reroll, don't take those doom damage upgrades. We don't need the damage to doom, we just need to stack as much doom as possible. So, you know, keep that in the back of your mind as you're playing. A doom doesn't have to do a lot of damage. It just has to be a lot of stacks of the doom, and that's going to be for our Shadow Spark to deal a lot of damage. And you can see a lot of orbs flying off everywhere. You love to see it when your whole screen goes purple and you can't see the floor. It's just the best feeling sometimes, you know, having all of that holy and shadow damage coming in like that. Just working the way you want the build to work. It is beautiful. So again, like I mentioned, we don't actually need this. I should probably banish this just because it's there. Again, the way this works is off the number of stacks of doom. It doesn't actually matter how much doom you have. So I am actually going to banish that just so I don't see it any longer. Cast frequency over there as well is going to be very good. Now, yes, you can increase the doom. You don't have to do that. It does help, obviously, with killing things a little bit quicker, because the more doom you're doing, the faster they're going to die, because you're applying so much of it. But we want to get those juicy numbers on our Shadow Spark at the end as well. And to do that, we're going to land up getting as much, you know, as possible doom stacks. It's just nice having that pop happen to enemies as well, I guess. We will take the epic one that makes it so your doom stacks deal extra damage. We'll probably just take one of them because we can. But again, that's not something we need. We don't need the Doom to deal damage. I feel like a broken record right now. Doom does not need to do the damage. Okay, we're not going to go and kill that. We should be able to kill these bosses even with the 20% damage reduction. It should be pretty easy to deal with them. I mean, you can see already the Incarnation of Fire taking a lot of damage over there. At least we aren't dead, and we have healed all that damage we took earlier, so we're in a really good spot with our laugh, which is fantastic. And I mean, this was under 10 minutes, which is really actually very strong. So I'm very happy with this. I'm sure you guys are also happy with this, seeing a build that you can run on max curse. But let's get into the Overlord, and just like every other video, I will see you in a little bit. I honestly did not expect this build to make it to Overlord 4, but here we are. We have enough cast frequency to get our Bloodlust up all the time. We did actually get a legendary offer for Shadow to, Holy to Chaos, so we took it. It is 12%, so it just made sense to do that. I mean, if you get a legendary, you have to take it regardless. I've done it in the past where I even get a legendary for a skill that I'm not using and then remove it. Now, there is one thing, these towers over here, as you can see, we cannot pass through them. Now, I really do think as a quality of life changer, that should be something that is allowed. We should be able to pass through our own chaos towers, and the reason for that is there are 4 of them. They work the same as, you know, your trees and things like that, so they have collision hitboxes. And the problem with this is we trying to run around and survive, and by hitting these collision hitboxes, we actually end up stopping, and it causes us to possibly die. So please, GS Gamesmithing, please make it so that we can move through our own chaos towers. I don't care if we land up hitting a tree or something, because then that makes sense, you stop moving. But if it's my tower, I want to be able to at least move through it. So we've been working on a lot of cast frequency. We're not going to take any more, we don't need it. Our cast frequency on all of our skills are at least under 0.5 for the ones that count, at least like our Shadow Spark, and on a lot of our healing, on getting Purity up and running quite a lot as well. And we lost a laugh there from not having enough dodges, or at least dodging incorrectly, which is a bit of a problem. But at least we do have some healing, so we can get that all back up and about. You can see our damage is really good if we do land up getting all the Doom stacks. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, this isn't targetable. It fires the spark at a random enemy, so it really doesn't matter how much effort we put into it. It really isn't going to help. So as you can see, we're on 1.4 seconds on Sanctified Orb, 1.8 on Shadow Orb, 0.3, 0.5, 2.8, 1.4, and then 9.8. Now the thing is, like these ones over here, you don't need a low cooldown because they last for 25 seconds, but the cast frequency does mean that they're going to smack enemies a lot faster as well, so you can grab it. We're going to grab the skill chain over here. We are still looking for more Doom stacks, but I do want to get a little bit more defensive here with Laugh and other things, so that's what we're looking for. Grabbing multicast along the way, and then another skill chain over here goes up to 20%. Again, look, you don't need to grab that, but it does help just keep your bloodlust up all of the time. Just in case, but we do have it up 24/7 anyway, so we don't need that skill chain. It really doesn't change anything with bloodlust. If you had other chaos skills, then yes, it's better, but because we've only got bloodlust, it's not going to matter. It does look like we might die on this level. It's okay if we do. We made it pretty far. I didn't even think of getting to Overlord Cycle 4 with this build. Like I mentioned, the poison build will be a lot better, but I really wanted to test other things, and I wanted to see how far we could get with this. I'm not actually lagging at all. We are playing on 60 FPS, which is really good. I thought it maybe would have killed my FPS a lot more, but luckily, fortunately, not unfortunately, it actually never. So we're in a good spot over there. We're going to grab ourselves the defenses, re-roll over here. We can grab both of these, so the crit and the doom. We can grab the damage over there and more life. So the more tanky we become, the easier it will be to survive. But you can see we keep getting caught on stuff. enemies and our, you know, the chaos totems, and that's causing us problems. Need to have the dodge up and available every time, so that when we hit one of these totems we can just dodge. But you can see the damage we do. Yeah, see, we got caught on the enemies over there and there was nothing we could do about it. I was going to say we've got the damage to kill the bosses, so it's not that. The problem is survivability. But there we go. Here are the details. Shadow Spark dealing 54 billion damage, 8.2 coming out of Shadow Orb, then Living Weapons and Sanctified Orbs. I think a couple of rounds before this, Living Weapon was just behind Shadow Spark, but I guess with the lower cooldown and things like that, it just pulled apart away from it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really didn't expect it to get to Overlord 4 anyway, so I'm really happy with that. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Please remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and always remember, keep safe survivors. Until next time, cheers.